What is going on, everybody? Thank you all so much for tuning into this live stream episode of For the People podcast. And of course, as always, I am your humble host, Niko House, and I'm back once again on this fine Wednesday evening with my man, Kyle. What is going on, Kyle? We got a great show today, y'all. You know, some would even say it might be the event of the century. Some might even say that. I don't know that.
Well, we got Upscrolled going on.
Bro?
Yeah, I'm doing good. I'm trying to stay warm. It was negative 4 degrees here in Pennsylvania, negative 4 degrees Fahrenheit. So cold, feet of snow. Yeah, pretty rough.
Couldn't be me, dog. Couldn't be me,
dude. It sucks. I'm very envious of people who don't have to deal with this kind of shit, because I think I told you the other day I shoveled my driveway 3 fucking times. I'm like,
nah, bro.
Move to Florida.
If I'm shoveling my driveway, I want it to be because it's a bunch of sand on the driveway. I'm not trying to shovel no more snow. You know, it's crazy because when you're a kid, you're like, I want snow. My oldest son, boy, he always, can we go to visit New York in the wintertime so I can play in the snow? I said, boy, you can go yourself. I'll drop you off and pick you up after you're done. I do not like snow anymore. It is just an inconvenience. And I was happy, you know, with all this ice stuff going on. I'm like, boy, thank God I'm not in the U.S. Then this snowstorm came through. Yeah, nah. I'm good on that, dog. I'm good on it. You know, it looks like you're right. Florida definitely didn't get the memo. You know, they got the fascism memo, but they didn't really get the weather memo. So I'm not
yeah, you can't criticize Israel down there, but you know, they're trying to do it with like property taxes. I guess that's cool, but yeah, if you say anything bad about Israel, you'll literally have the police show up to your house. But I'm told that we had the president said we had free speech in America again, but I could have fooled me.
Cool. Yeah, it was. What's hilarious is like if they do manage to get rid of all the property taxes, like they have to, otherwise everybody's just going to leave. They now have more houses in Florida worth more than $1 million than they do in New York. How is that even possible, bro? How is that even possible? Like when I moved to Florida, it was so cheap. Because it's kind of like Texas where it's spacious, but even more so, it was because of the beach. Because you couldn't go anywhere where there wasn't a beach. If somebody's like, I'm gonna raise the prices on this area that you want to stay at, that's fine. I'm just gonna go 2 miles down the road and I will still be at a beach. Yeah. And that was always a way of keeping the prices low by keeping the competition up. But yeah, bro, BlackRock, Vanguard, they ruined that. We got a great show for you guys today. First of all, before we even get into that, make sure you like this video right now if you're watching, comment right now, and go give your boys a follow on Upscrolled.
Yes.
Go follow us, because Upscrolled, that's just way better than X. It's way better than like, I got 2,000 followers in 2 days. And my engagement is like, I would say maybe at the peak, I get more engagement on X on like a couple things. But on average, I get more engagement on Upscroll. And like up until the day, I literally had 100,000th of the following. That doesn't make any sense. That mad don't mad.
I totally get it because I get frustrated all the time. Like, yeah, some of my tweets will hardly get like 300 views, and I just crossed 5,300 followers on Twitter. So, you know, like I'm on like the upswing right now. Right now, traction's good, but you know, in like a day or two, all of a sudden your engagement is just going to tank, and nobody's going to see your shit. So, right now, I'm like, oh yeah, this is cool, but I know it's going to go right away. But yeah, Upscrolled, I can mainly thank you for boosting my following a little bit on there. So I'm going to try to post there a little bit more. But yeah, so far I like what I see, and it does seem a little bit more organized and less like bullshit crowded into your feed. Where like Twitter, you'll get random Zionist bots. Like you could tell when there's a protest going on in Iran because all of a sudden everybody with an Israeli flag is now all over your news feed. Everywhere.
It's like, didn't I just mute you? Like, bro, I see people that I mute all the time on X, which I feel like kind of defeats the point of me muting them. The only thing that happens is now I can't respond to them. It's like, all right, whatever. But I love so fun fact about Upscrolled, they don't have an algorithm. You see who you follow.
Right.
And they do have topics that you can post into, but what's dope is that doesn't exclude your ability to be seen. If it gets retweeted, it gets retweeted. So it helps you by putting you in certain verticals if you want to be in there, because I know some people might think it's exclusively for politics, and that might have been the main goal that was in mind when they created it, because it was created by a Palestinian who was sick of Zionists controlling all the media, and that thing came right on time. And hey, shout out to Larry Ellison, boy. I know you having a bad couple of days.
It always makes me laugh because Zionists and Jewish people will say, oh, well, it's an anti-Semitic conspiracy theory to say we control the media. But then when Larry Ellison buys up, TikTok, PBS, and Barry Weiss is now running CBS News or whatever, then it's like, okay, well, I'm sorry. Like, you guys happen to love Israel. Some of you are Jewish and you run media companies. And we're just saying like, hey, you're running these media companies on behalf of the Israeli government, essentially.
That's the problem.
Yeah, right. Like, I don't care if you're Jewish and then you just own a social media program, but like the fact is that a lot of these people are pushing the Israeli narrative and they own social media platforms. And then people like us who are anti-Israel get completely throttled all the time. And like you said, with upscroll, there's no algorithm. Whereas like YouTube now, I'm sure you know just as well as I do, like it's so hard to get traction anymore on anything. Like you have to make sure you jump through all the right hoops and then follow their algorithm specifically, which changes from time to time. And then Twitter, who knows what their algorithm's doing half the time. Like actually it seemed like old Twitter before Elon bought it actually did have like better algorithm. Right.
Which is crazy to say because it was shit.
Right.
Like, how is that even possible? Well, they managed to do it. That's like, it's insane. Cause I was thinking the other day, I'm like, yo, Twitter was bad, but like, was it this bad? No, it wasn't. And like, what's ironic is like, so Elon creates Grok, this AI, and Grok keeps snitching on him and snitching on X about how bad it's gotten. Yeah, man, here's a comprehensive analysis in all the ways we're shadow banning you because you won't stop talking about Epstein in Israel. Want to fix that? Stop talking about Epstein in Israel.
All right.
Oh, okay. I don't think that's tenable. I don't think that's possible. But up scroll has been dope so far, and I did notice an uptick in my engagement on X yesterday, which is hilarious. Because
where you going?
Yeah, bro. Because it wasn't just me. I'm like, oh, so now everybody, y'all increase engagement everywhere now. Yeah. But on IG, because I feel like that's probably going to be other than TikTok, that's going to be the one that gets hurt the most. And I know that IG is excruciatingly aware of the success of Upscrolled because Threads was the only social media app ahead of Upscrolled until yesterday.
Ah, nice. Good. You love to see it.
and then all of a sudden, everybody's getting throttled on IG, and everybody's talking about it too because everybody's tired of it. Everybody. Bro, I've gotten suspended for talking about Palestine. I don't know how many times. I can't get monetized on Instagram because of talking about Palestine. Our hotspot account with like more than 200,000 followers got suspended not once but twice because of Palestine. So like, yeah, bro, everybody's done. Like if y'all gonna keep screwing with everybody like this, like I know I'm not a fan of capitalism, but this is what capitalism does. This is what it's supposed to be.
All right.
Somebody came with something better.
Yeah, exactly. Upscrolled came around and said, all right, well, you guys are screwing all these content creators. We're going to give them something to like, so their voices can be heard. All right. And you got to see this with Substack too. And like Substack, in my opinion, is way, 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 way underutilized for like content creators because you could blog, you could podcast, you could get an RSS feed there. You can post.
I've heard of Substack is pretty lit. I'm guilty of underutilizing it for sure.
Yeah, I kind of use that for music stuff, and that's kind of like the niche I've dug in there. But, like I said, if you're a content creator overall, I think like Substack's really good. And then it's good to hear that like Upscroll's kind of on the up and up. Normally, like when these social media platforms come out initially, they're a little bit buggy, but it seems like Upscroll actually like is good. Like right out of the box.
Bro, that's the first thing I said. They had a server issue. They actually made an announcement because it blew up. So I know for a fact, yesterday morning around 11 a.m. real time, so this is a little bit early on Eastern time and even earlier California time, they hit 500,000 users yesterday morning, and that was before all the viral posts going out yesterday, people making YouTube videos about it, and then them reaching number one. That was yesterday morning. They had 500,000 users. Wow. That is insanity. And even though they might have had like these windows of issues with their server for a couple of minutes, like overall, the functionality of Upscroll is really, really good for an app that has so many people that's relatively new, and you know, has so much functionality, very similar to Instagram, very similar to X. And bro, when they get live streaming, it's over.
Oh
Like,
yeah,
it's going to be over.
yeah. I was
because go ahead.
I was kind of thinking about this a little bit earlier when you're mentioning like how good it functions. Like Rumble is basically paid for by Peter Thiel, and there's so many podcasters that have their podcast linked to Rumble. Rumble's interface on fucking phones is awful.
It's so garbage.
It's
I can't get
so
down with
bad.
it. I can't get down with it, bro. I can't. I try. I have a Rumble account. It's okay. You know what I'm saying? Like, I understand.
Yeah.
Like, but like once Peter Thiel started handing out big ass paychecks to certain people, I'm like, hold on, wasn't Peter Thiel the reason that we have all these problems with YouTube? So nobody's like expecting them to eventually have the same problems on Rumble. And actually, what people began discovering is that there are some people that get hurt in the algorithm on Rumble for speaking about certain topics, and some people that do not. And they get boosted based off of how much Rumble has already invested into you. So, like, but really quick before we go into this Erika Kirk topic, I do got to mention one thing, y'all.
Yeah.
So, you know Ian Carroll, right? I just found it really interesting, Kyle, that a person who claims to be pro-Palestinian and more specifically so anti-Israel, he hasn't said a single word about this platform owned by a Palestinian. And Ian has never, ever, ever, ever been one to avoid an opportunity to grow and take advantage of a movement, of a trend, of a viral topic. Never, literally never, since he's become popular. Right. But the difference is you can manipulate the algorithms and your engagement on TikTok. You can manipulate engagement on IG, and you can manipulate engagement on X. So how did the anti-Israel conspiracy theorist, investigative truth teller end up getting hired to InfoWars as Owen like when Alex Jones was like, freaking bro, I've never seen somebody shield for Israel so hard, shield for globalists so hard, and then pretend like while he's shielding for the globalists, and so this is how you know this is anti-globalist, and Trump is anti-globalist. And then Ian Carroll, who supposedly hates all of that and got famous for exposing that, and by exposing, I mean just taking everybody else's work and then taking credit for it. He ends up on InfoWars after Owen Shore leaves because Alex Jones becomes a fucking shill. And then like when he has an opportunity, because it's not like, bro, there are a ridiculous amount of famous people on Upscrolled. Like a ridiculous amount, more than I thought there would be. And Ian is just like trying to pretend like he don't see it. Wonder why that is. Probably because you can't manipulate the algorithms anymore.
Now, I remember he said on Joe Rogan that Trump and Miriam Adelson are plotting a coup against Netanyahu. That was back in March. Bro. What the hell happened to that? Like some of these people, Alex Jones especially, he kind of fits in over there because they just throw shit at the wall with no evidence. And then when they're like completely proven wrong, on to the next thing. No, like, I got that wrong. It was nope.
Welcome to my life in this career over the last 10 years, bro. It's like, how can you say something like, for you to believe that Donald Trump is plotting a coup against Netanyahu of all people, and say that shit on Joe Rogan. And now, I mean, at that point, I was already kind of judging Joe Rogan because of some of the guests he had. But then, because like at that point, Ian was on there for the work that he did by taking Whitney Webb's work, and yet Joe Rogan pretending like he didn't know who Whitney Webb was, which is bullshit. I know it's bullshit. But like, you invited this dude on, you let him say some shit like that, and you have all of your audience take this man seriously. And when they're actual journalists doing great work, you ignore them and pretend like they don't exist. And that's how people like Ian Carroll get amplified, because they use fake engagement to convince people that have real engagement. And then it takes fake clout and turns it into real clout. And it is actually extremely problematic for the discourse. It really is. Because like, I'm not a gatekeeper. I don't really like gatekeeping, but at a certain point, guys, like, when somebody gets it wrong that often, we might, I'm not saying we got to put a padlock on there, but maybe a little turn lock. a little baby lock. You know what I'm saying? Really quick, y'all, man. Let's check out what Erika Kirk had to say in this leaked audio, boy. Look, ever since Candace had that meeting with Erika Kirk, a lot of people thought that it was gonna make Candace like stop, slow down. Like, yeah, it's been the opposite. Candace has been going harder and harder and harder, and Erika Kirk has been getting more and more and more exposed. This audio leak is from a conversation had right after the memorial for Charlie Kirk in Arizona after he was assassinated. And I'm just gonna say, based off of this, if this is my wife, we would have problems. I'm coming back with a vengeance. Let's check it out.
Hi, everybody. I still love all these emoji Zoom things. Wow. I don't even know where to begin. The fact that we were able to pull off an event of a century, like, it's just insane. We had over 275,000 people that attended, and the stadium, overflow, Westgate, insane, you guys. And then you have, was it 100 million? You guys that heard the gospel and all about Charlie and all about everything that you guys do, and the hard work of Turning Point USA is insane. We had thousands that were registered to vote. I think we're at like over 200,000 for merch sales. Don't quote me on that, because I think it just keeps like bumping up like crazy. But I just wanted to say a huge thank you to the events team, the development team, the graphic design team, the production team. It's just phenomenal. Their incredible work leading into the memorial. And honestly, a lot of the staff that worked on the memorial, they had 20-hour days for a week during the time of us grieving the loss of my husband. And
oh, you were grieving? Wow.
Could have fooled me.
I could have fucking fooled. Yeah, could have fooled me. Bro, go. I'm gonna let you go ahead and speak first before I get my.
So I hate to do the hipster thing, but man, I was kind of thinking something was up here before everyone started jumping on this. And maybe you were on it too, but like, I want to say it was maybe a week after he was assassinated. I'm like, man, she heads the organization. And then you actually did a lot of great work on this. I've sent your video about how you kind of dove into her whole Romanian Angels thing to a whole bunch of people, because I'm like, oh, this goes pretty fucking deep.
Yeah, so, bro. Like, that was kind of by accident. I just kept like digging, because like I have a wife. I'm like, this is weird. This is not how my wife would act if I die.
Right. So no one's going to criticize a widow right after her husband was just killed. And I somewhat rightfully so. But when you step into a very powerful position that your husband ran, that is very, very responsible for getting the youth into one political party, or like basically you're taking charge of political operation, I think we have to eventually question your motives, right? So your husband gets killed, and then like, I'm sure you've seen all the memes. I think they're absolutely hilarious of how Erika grieves, and there's like concerts and stuff. I'm like, bro, come on, like
WWE entrances.
Yeah, all the tissues and everything. I'm like, I don't know, man. Like, I know how my wife is with my family, and obviously with our daughter and everything. Like, she has a very good relationship with my mom, my dad, my brother, my whole family. So I'm sure if they saw her running around on a podcast and borderline celebrating after I got shot in the neck in 4K, I think people would be like, are you dipping in that life insurance policy? Like, well, what the hell's going on here? Like, were you just waiting for that check or something?
Borderline celebrating. You're being generous.
Yeah, sparklers and everything. And there's just a lot of weird shit. And once again, nobody's going to suspect her because, oh my God, what are you, some kind of asshole looking into the widow of somebody who just got killed? There's a lot of like, if the motivation was there, why wouldn't she? Once again, assuming motivation, which we can't do, but I'm just saying, if you look at the outcome, what am I supposed to make of this?
Listen, I'm a keep it a band with y'all. If my wife ever in her life, guys, celebrated my death like this, because I'm a no. I will know. I just want to be clear about that. I will know. I will come back down and I will haunt her until her last breath. You better be crying every single day for 6 months. And even after that, you better still be in mourning. Because why the hell are you talking? What's just $100 million? I'm assuming that's in donations, which sounds about right for TPUSA. Talking about how many voters you registered off of people like feeling motivated by my assassination. You coming out there in sparklers and a white pantsuit like you Hillary Clinton and the victory she thought she was going to get, but never actually got. You talking about $250,000 in merch sales? Why are you showing your face in public right now? You're not sad? Matter of fact, okay, so you have a funeral. That's not strange. No one considers that to be strange. Maybe the camera in the face while you're trying to fake tears, like that part was strange. But like you just having a funeral? Okay. You throwing the quote unquote event of a century is completely different. Right. You then immediately being selected as a CEO of your late husband's company, his political organization, when you have zero political experience, and you get this ridiculous salary on top of that. And then, of course, there's the life insurance thing. Then we already know she hasn't gotten her story straight at all since Charlie died. Like, I'm just saying, I'm coming back to haunt my wife if this was her. And I'm filing for divorce posthumously. I don't know if that's possible, but I'm about to put it in my will. And I'm like, hey, man, if y'all see my wife celebrating like Erika Kirk, cancel that shit. Whatever I had, whatever was in her name is no longer in her name. Leave it to my kid.
First couple sparklers you see setting off, that is a posthumous disengagement here.
That is posthumous divorce material. Because what's also interesting about this is we got to figure out who's selling out Erika Kirk and TPUSA and their motives, because it looks like someone is under the same impression that we are, that we don't know if Erika Kirk was directly involved in his assassination, but it ain't really clear if she wasn't involved.
She doesn't seem very interested in too much information getting out there and sending cease and desist letters. Like, when a high profile event like this happens, people are going to ask questions. And especially when the official narrative doesn't add up at all, you can't really blame people for being like, something's going on here, because everything I've seen, when a 30-06 hits something, it doesn't just not leave an exit wound. So,
bro, it's crazy.
I'm not saying that it wasn't Tyler Robinson or it wasn't the gun that he used, but I'm just saying, like, this shit doesn't add up, because if that was a 30-06, like they're trying to make us believe, every video I've seen, it goes through whatever it went, whatever's it's going towards. So
yeah, 30-06 is not a game, y'all.
Right. They're saying the Man of Steel. Like, I'm sorry, like Charlie Kirk wasn't like that big of he was a tall human being, but he didn't exactly work out. Like, he looked kind of effeminate. So I mean,
yeah. And I want to
he had a neck of steel. I'm just not buying it. I'm sorry.
Now, to be clear, I want everybody to know I don't believe that Tyler Robinson did it. And it's not really a moral judgment. It's I've been in the military. I've shot plenty of guns. I know people who shot plenty of guns. And that man would be possibly the most talented marksman in his age group in history, to be able to pick a gun up out of nowhere. Boom. Let me put on my sights, not adjust a damn thing, not adjust for wind, nothing. Got up. Dude, that is hard as shit. In perfect conditions, that's hard as shit. Like, that's impossible almost. Like, the equipment that he would have had to get that shot off and hit with the training would be insane. Like, but he's not trained like that. To hit him from that distance with the windshield that no one ever actually likes to talk about whenever they're talking, because it was windy that day, and no one talks about it. So to do that with the windshield, and then you don't hit anybody else, like, dog. I'm sorry, y'all. Tyler Robinson is not capable of that. I don't give a damn. which is by the way exactly why they don't talk about it anymore.
Right.
But back to this question of Erika, you know what? Because you said you saw my videos where I was covering her, and one of the things that I had actually mentioned in those videos was how strange it was that it seemed like somebody had been hiding her past relationships because of this image she was trying to put out there that she was this good Christian wife who had only been dedicated to Charlie and went to a Christian school, which actually came later after ASU, Arizona State University. By the way, that's one of the campuses where MK Ultra was practiced. I don't know. Yeah. Oh, yeah. You didn't know that. Yeah.
This keeps going.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. It isn't a coincidence that her mother, who worked for DHS, decides to pick up and leave out of nowhere and come to Arizona, because allegedly it was because of the divorce, right? And her dad wasn't in her life. But then Erika herself says what? That her dad moved to Arizona with her family to be close to them. And he was part of DHS and obviously part of the Israel military industrial complex as well. So yeah, so there's that. But well, it was so strange to me that every time you would look for the information on her ex-fiance, and allegedly there might have been more than one. So there's that. But somebody finally, because boy, internet sleuths, they are on one. This last year, bro, internet sleuths, they've been going brazy when it comes to exposing people, and especially because of this Erika Kirk situation, because it doesn't matter if you like Charlie Kirk. If your government is assassinating people, that's problematic. 2, if you think your government is assassinating people on behalf of another country, that's even more problematic. 3, if you think your government is assassinating people on behalf of another country and then pretending that that individual who is assassinated actually love that country and then using it to weaponize people and turn people against each other, that's a whole new problem that you got to deal with. And people are tired of being gaslighted. So somebody found this video of Erika Kirk and her ex-fiance. It was for a video that she did trying to get onto The Amazing Race. I guess this is the 26th season of The Amazing Race, bro. Look at this video, dog.
It was all a dream.
Hi.
Hi.
Good morning, America.
I've lived in China. I've lived in Chongqing. I've been to Romania. I've been to Croatia. Lived in Puerto Rico for a little bit. Really handsome.
You look gorgeous. Are you fixing my... I got a little bacon. Babe, that's deep in there. Give them a cleavage. People want cleavage. Showcase it.
Sex sells, babe.
Sex sells. That's me.
Lots against religion.
How Christian of her.
The confines of marriage.
Every time.
I don't...
Bro. It's
Well,
like, it
25
goes
years
on.
old, from Scottsdale, Arizona, and I currently live in Venice, California.
So March 1st, we went on our first
Like-
date.
Well, I got it wrong because I thought it was
Yes.
the day before, and I called him and I was like, "Hi, so I'm gonna be running late."
So it's weird how she never mentions in any interview that she lived in Arizona and was dating a professional baseball player for the Rockies. Like, how do you no, excuse me, not dating, was engaged to a professional baseball player, yo.
That's kind of hope. There's something going on there. It's, and you see this with so many people who come out as Christian influencers. And like, look, if you got a freaky private life and you like to get your rocks off, I really don't care that much, right?
Yeah,
But
like, it's
if
your
you
business.
if you present one thing publicly and do another privately, and then are berating other people for not living right, I kind of have a problem with that, man. Like, I'm a pretty conservative person, right? I've been with my wife now for 7 years. I never smoked a cigarette, never smoked weed. I don't do drugs. I like to drink every here and there, but like, I'm not around here telling people how to act. That's not my job. You guys can generally police yourselves. But if you're a big conservative influencer and you're doing this kind of stuff, then I'm sorry, your house kind of has to be in order, and you can't go lie publicly about who you were and who you are.
Yeah, unless you're like using, there's some people that use it as what do they call it? Not testimony. Whenever they're like, oh, this is how I was and this is who I am now. No, she pretends like this is who she's always been.
Right.
Right, like who she was with Charlie. was who she had always been. And like Erika Kirk is not that old where there's that much of a difference between the person she was in that video, because Amazing Race isn't that goddamn old, and the time that she met with Charlie and was with Charlie. Like you managed to you managed to get engaged to a professional baseball player at some point. You also somehow managed to this was after she lived in Romania, she said, and so at some point lived in China, right? So she had to be in her mid-20s, right? Okay, so it's after all of that, after you was working for Trump as a beauty pageant queen, right? And then out of nowhere, I'm super evangelical Christian. Like, this is who I've always been. Let me erase any history. Because, like, if somebody asked me about my life, yeah, I have an ex-wife. Like, why would I lie about that? I'm 37 years old. That's not a strange thing to say. But when you lie about having an ex-fiance and pretend like they never existed, and you also lied about your dad's involvement in your life, and pretend like y'all had no relationship when your dad and your fucking mom had a business together that they were running. Like, I'm not even confident that they even divorced ever at this point.
It's like,
My question,
it was like she was cooked in a lab.
You could say that. Look, man, after watching Stranger Things, because I finally got convinced to watch it, right? And I'm not gonna lie. I know some people like were boycotting the 5th season because of like the director, and then like Will, the character for Will is like a fucking Zionist. I'm not gonna like boycott everything because of
you gotta enjoy some things.
I gotta enjoy it, and my son loves it. Like, my son loves it, and like at that point, like, I gotta draw the line. I'm like, yeah. If not, if he like, yeah, do you like him? I would be like, nah, fuck that guy. Like, later on in his life when he can actually understand. But like, I'm gonna enjoy it with my son. But after, you know that like they were talking heavily about MK Ultra in the series, and black and erasing people's memories and all the experiments and using the drug. Like, they were showing how they would drug them up and put them in sensory deprivation tanks and everything like that. And my wife is like, oh my God, that's such a crazy story. I'm like, it's not a crazy story. They were doing that. And she's like, what? I was like, yeah, they went to Congress. Like, they had to be forced to stop. They never really stopped, but they had to be forced to stop. And she's like, no, you're joking. I was like, babe, no, I'm dead ass serious. And I guess after I was saying it out loud, I'm like, yeah, that's fucking insane, right? Like, the fact that it doesn't get discussed more. She's like, y'all don't talk about like this a lot. Do you think that some people are still like victims? That actually, ironically, because this is around the time that Erika Kirk stuff started happening, is when I started catching up. I was like, yeah, actually, ironically, I think that Erika Kirk is one of those people. Which is why she be having these fucking glitches. Because maybe in her mind, that never happened. Right? There's a possibility that she is telling these stories with a straight ass face, not considering the possibility that she's lying or could be misconstrued, or in the dates that she gives us doesn't add up. It legitimately could be because she doesn't know.
Right.
Because how often in that series I was about to say Unzi, does 11 lose her memory because of her trauma and because of the experiments and everything that she went through?
Yeah, I mean, you got to imagine that people block stuff out like that. Like, I think you and I might have talked about this at one point or another, where like women don't remember how difficult like giving birth or pregnancy or anything like that is, and that's for the reason of, hey, I want to have more kids, but if I remember how awful it was in that moment, that may deter me from wanting to do that. 100%. Trauma works in a very similar way, where it's like, oh no, if I have to actively think about this may cripple my ability to live daily life.
Exactly. And really with MK Ultra, that's what a lot of it was. It's like, not only was it the brainwashing, but like people don't remember going through it because I guess it's your brain's way of having plausible deniability, right? It wouldn't be effective if you were constantly reacting to the trauma you experience while undergoing these experiments. But like, for everybody who doesn't know, so Arizona is actually home to the largest intelligence base in the U.S. And that is where all the U.S. intel military, I think it's I know for the Army. For the Navy, it's in Dam Neck. But at least for the Army, it's in Arizona. And ASU specifically is one of the like 2 or 3 colleges where they practice MK Ultra like for decades. And also, it makes sense. because it's right by the military intelligence and psychological operations base for the military. That's what it makes sense. And who did Erika's mom work for? The DHS. Who did Erika's dad work for? The DHS. They look like they made this girl in a lab, and she acts like she was made in a lab. There's nothing natural about her. Like it's insane. And so to close on this topic, I can't say that like I hope that Erika keeps getting exposed, because I really, at this point, I used to kind of like laugh it off whenever people made the MK Ultra joke about her. Then as I started doing more research, like, because I remembered it, but I'm like, well, let me do some more detailed research about that shit. And then let me watch some more of these interviews. Oh shit, actually, she might even be aware of what's going on. She could be a victim, actually. She could genuinely, and that's a very real possibility. So I hope that this keeps getting exposed, because there's a real possibility that something major is going to be exposed because of these glitches Erika keeps having, because no one in their right fucking mind would have that conversation while being recorded and think that that's a normal conversation to have after your husband dies.
Right.
No, excuse me. Let me be clear. After your husband is shot, whatever, we shot, exploded chest, whatever. We know that he was alive, then he wasn't alive in front of the whole world. And you're talking like you just had a successful fucking WWE event. Like, that's not normal. So
the amount of grieving versus the amount of celebrating is just, there's something way off about it. And there's people that try to get you to like be quiet about this, but I don't know, man. I'm sorry. If she kind of retreated to motherhood and was quiet and made a few statements, I'm like, all right, yeah, I'm sure she's in grieving, but like, this is just a little too odd, man. You can't help it.
It's weird. It's fucking weird, bro. It's just the only way to put it. Like, then like meeting with Candace in secret, like after pretending like she couldn't pretend anymore, but she pretended like she didn't even see or hear what Candace was saying. Then like, because she started getting asked about it, then she had to address it. Then she met with Candace in secret. Like, we're not going to talk about it. Like, why? Why the hell are y'all doing it in secret? That's weird. And it's weird that you haven't been talking to her this whole time. And this is one of Charlie's best friends. And she's trying to figure out who murdered your fucking husband. And you're just like, I'm not going to talk to her. That's weird as shit. Right. Anyway, I want to move on, because this Alex Pretti, this whole Minnesota situation is getting wild, bro. I do want to get your initial thoughts on like since the last time we talked, what are your thoughts on how the situation has evolved since then?
So I haven't monitored this Alex Pretti situation too closely, although I've seen enough to kind of get a general glimpse of it. As time goes on, and I've explained on your show before that I do consider myself an immigration restrictionist, but like the way that you would have to do this isn't by sending the military in and then ripping people out and then killing Americans like they're doing. And it's amazing to see all the people who are right wingers and pro Second Amendment saying he had a gun on him at a protest. We are legally allowed to do. I mean, that is in the Constitution. Like, they're not ambiguous about that either. Like, they're
and it was confirmed in a court case in 2022. It was reconfirmed.
Like, this is abundantly clear in the Constitution. The guy never pulled his weapon at a cop. There was a video of him kicking a tail lamp, and like, okay, you give the dude a fine or something for destroying public property or something like that. But like, after that, the fact that there was like 5 guys on top of this guy and they fucking shot him. Like, what are you doing?
And I'm not gonna show the video because I want to get the video hit. You know, I'm not one of the algorithm gatekeepers, so I actually get held accountable on YouTube. But like, when you look at the video and how long it took for them to shoot him, it was strange. It like, and I've been in those situations, unfortunately, more than once. And I found it extremely bizarre how long it took to shoot him, given that they had already taken his weapon away. And everybody was like, oh, it's because he was resisting. Yeah, I'm sorry, but resisting arrest, that really should never happen. If you can now obviously they can make an argument in court whether or not that arrest is legitimate. But it should be mentioned that if you see somebody being wrongfully attacked by a law enforcement, you do actually have the right to intervene on behalf of that individual. That is actually a legal right. But if you want to go to court to determine whether or not he actually resisted arrest and the charge is legitimate, you arrest him, take him to jail, and then let the court decide. You don't shoot him with 6 people on him. So the reason I say it's strange is actually because of this article that just dropped, and there is almost nobody talking about it. And when I read it, I guess I wasn't surprised. I guess I wasn't surprised. I can say if I wasn't. Like, it was one of the situations like, of course, bro. Like, it can only get worse. I thought it was bad enough when white women was getting killed in the street. I already said, didn't I say, Kyle? I said on this very show, I said, white women getting killed in the street, the U.S. is cooked. Because that's it. That was we thought at one point that was the limit, that they would never, ever cross that limit because they know the hell that they would have on their hands the moment that they do so. I mean, Trump's ratings are in the tank. Congress' ratings are in the tank. Like, Trump is literally doing worse than George W. Bush right now. Do you know how fucking hard it is to do worse than George W. Bush? It is hard. and it is hard to do worse than, but Trump is managing to do it. So here in this article, DOJ investigating government Tim Walz in oh no, excuse me. This is another article. My apologies. Let me put another one. Hold on, where did I put it at?
We keep hearing that we live at, you're good. We live in a golden age, and you and I know had to have talked about this at one point or another, but like, I don't know, man, the American people don't feel like they're in a golden age. And especially when you're seeing fellow Americans get shot in the streets, like, you have 5 ICE agents on top of this dude. The dude literally had a gun. Yeah. The dude had a gun in his back. Like, it was like a back stapled holster.
Yeah.
If he was reaching
was it 9mm.
Yeah,
right?
It was something insanely small. So, like, if you saw the dude reaching for a gun, all right, I don't like the fact that they would potentially have to shoot him in that situation, but at least, like, they're like, all right, well, he was reaching for, but like, that's not what happened. They disarmed this dude, and then the 5 dudes were on top of him.
Oh,
and then they were.
And if I'm not mistaken, he said he had a gun, right?
Yeah, I think so. So, like, and people, just like I said, the right wingers that are trying to make excuse, oh, well, he shouldn't have had a gun at a protest. You have Kash Patel going on public television saying, yeah, he had a gun at a protest. And then he did everything he could. He even mentioned the First Amendment, but for some reason, he never went over to the second one. I'm like,
as he was claiming that it's illegal to have a gun at a protest.
Yeah, perfectly fine.
Bro, feds knew. This shit is insane. Feds knew who Alex Pretti was and broke his ribs in an earlier fight. Okay? Slain Minneapolis protester Alex Pretti had his rib broken by ICE agents just 1 week before he was shot to death. He was also potentially part of a massive surveillance database that agents are rumored to be collecting on protesters in Minneapolis. So whenever you see these agents randomly, like, they don't pull out cuffs, they don't pull out tasers. When somebody starts arguing with them, they strangely pull out their phones, which is like a bizarre thing to do in that situation. Because if there was somebody trying to kill you, that's the quickest way to die. Like, you pulling out the wrong damn thing, and it's like they put out their phones, and it's like they're looking up something or they're taking pictures of something. And there's a reason for that. An unnamed source told CNN that Peretti's earlier altercation with federal agents occurred when he pulled over and got out of his car to observe ICE agents running after a family. Once again, perfectly legal. There's nothing illegal about that. He immediately began blowing his whistle and yelling. Also, perfectly legal, and probably the best way you can handle that situation to make sure you don't get shot. Honestly, if you're trying to make sure that justice is being served and nobody is abusing their power, that's like the best and safest way you could do it. He was later taken down by 5 agents. This is during that first altercation, with one leaning on his back and breaking his ribs before they released him back into the street. That day, he thought he was going to die, CNN source said. CNN reviewed Peretti's medication records, which were consistent with the idea that he had broken his rib. It is not clear whether the Border Patrol agents recognized Peretti before the killing from this past weekend, but a DHS memo earlier this month told agents in Minneapolis, capture all images, license plates, identifications, and general information on hotels, agitators, protesters, etc., so we can capture it all in one consolidated form. A source told CNN that federal agents knew Peretti's name without classifying if he was in the database. And what did the borders are say? One thing I'm pushing for right now, we're going to create a database where those people that are arrested for interference, impeding, assault, we're going to make them famous. And he said this 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago, was when, right after that, it was when Pretti had his ribs broken while he was driving. So you know they got his license plate. And once they get your license plate, they got everything they need.
You remember all the people that were upset about getting fired from their jobs for supporting Trump or having certain political positions, let's say probably 10 years ago. Isn't it amazing how now government officials are saying, yeah, we're going to make these people famous and tell their employers? I don't know, man. Like I see a ton of people saying, "Oh yeah, these leftists want you dead, so yeah, fuck it, let's ruin their lives." I'm like, man, you know what? I don't know. I'm honestly not on board with that, man.
Who wants you dead? Who wants them dead? I don't like where.
So I was supposed to be a teacher at one point, right? I had 3 job interviews, and they pretty much gave me a handshake deal and said, "Hey, you're hired." They found my social media and said, "Oh yeah, no, we're not going to hire you." And you would have thought,
really?
You would have thought after 3 interviews, they would have like at least Googled my name just once, but nope, never did. So unfortunately, I didn't get that job. It had a pension. It wasn't as good paying as what I do now, but I was willing to take the hit. Family would have had health care and everything. Summers off, it would have been beautiful. All because of my political beliefs, I lost that. So
that's ridiculous.
It's happened. Yeah, thank you. But it's happened to me. I don't want that to happen to other people, man. Like I don't want to ruin people's lives. Like I understand more in like this white hot culture war, but I really think there is an ugly part of humanity when you start going down the rabbit hole of celebrating fellow Americans' deaths and also celebrating like the ruination of people's lives. Like this is what Israelis do to Palestinians. And I'm sorry if I believe that all of us here are better than that. That's just my belief. We shouldn't celebrate when bombs are dropped on buildings. We shouldn't celebrate when people's lives are ruined, because once again, that could be you eventually. And like, I don't want your life ruined. You don't want my life ruined. So what are we doing?
To that very point, whenever Ashley Babbitt was killed, Kyle, you have no idea how much shit I took because I said they were dead ass wrong for killing that girl. They were like, what? But she trespassed. I don't give a fuck. First of all, I don't know if you can call it trespassing when they let you in.
Right.
Like, so there's that.
Yeah.
But the punishment is supposed to be congruent with the crime that is committed. Trespassing is not a death penalty. Like, it's not a death sentence.
Right.
And she was unarmed. There was no indication that she was a threat to that officer. And I was and you know what I kept saying, Kyle, over and over and over again? It's going to happen to us.
Yep.
Because, like, that white woman was, like, another situation. That white woman was killed in broad daylight. She was executed. Bop to the head. And what was even stranger was, like, she was a threat, but nobody else was?
Right.
What's the explanation for that? There's none. So you know what happens next. That's a test, y'all. They're trying to see what they can get away with. That was really what the January 6th, because I said that, all that, we haven't really heard the word insurrection is used as much until January 6th. And you know what I said was going to happen? It's a test. Guess what will happen when Trump wins again? You will hear that word insurrection is being used to describe us.
Yep.
Everything that's happening right now, I got to speak on it because it's going to happen to us. It isn't maybe it's no, it's a guarantee. There's nothing that the Democrats do that the Republicans don't do worse, and vice versa.
Right.
It's nothing, even genocide.
Yeah.
And go ahead.
It's why I get really annoyed with the people who are kind of a little bit more pro-Trump. And I'm not in any regard, really. I try to call balls and strikes, right? If he does something good, I call it out. If he does something bad, obviously I call it out. But like, I see people saying, oh, but look at his national defense strategy. I'm like, bro, he's doing all the same shit that Joe Biden has done. Arms to Taiwan, arms to Ukraine, arms to the Philippines, bombing Somalia at a record pace. Like, not just a little bit more than Biden, like multitudes more than Biden. Broke his record for the first, from the first administration, over double.
Trump is pressing that goddamn button to bomb Somalia so much his hand is bruising. His hand is bruising.
Yeah. Well, I was told that was from him shaking so many hands. And there were people that were seriously trying to defend that. I'm like, dude, come on. Like, this is like people trying to hide Joe Biden's mental decline. Like, everybody could see it clear as day. And like, you mean to tell me, I listened to Trump's whole World Economic Forum speech today, because I know you wanted to talk about that a little bit, but like, this man is clearly going on, not like a real steep mental decline, but it's clear.
It's there.
You can tell
it's
he's
showing.
not the same Trump he was back in 2016. The dude's fucking 80 years old. He is old. We can't have geriatrics running the fucking country anymore. I'm sorry. Dude can't even pronounce some of the countries that he claims to end the war in. He can't even pronounce some of the names right. He's still saying Azerbaijan. And then he said Venezuela or something like that. Bruh. I don't know if anybody else called that. Like, he was slurring his speech. I'm like, this he's getting old.
He ain't. Hey, look, he missing some marbles in that Jack set. That's all I'm saying, y'all. Like, and by the way, those are two different games in case you missed the reference. Like, that's where he's at right now. And these interviews that he's giving, bro. Like, for example, by the way, it's nice to know that, like, MAGA just said, fuck the Second Amendment. Like, that's wild to me. That was quick. I mean, it's like, y'all know I despise liberals. And I have never seen MAGA look more liberal than liberals. Right. But here we are. Like, this is what's happening. Every time I open up my my X account, I'm like, hold up, is this a MAGA conservative or is this a liberal? I can't tell the difference anymore. Because what's that dude's name? God Saad?
Oh, the Mossad agent.
You know, like, this dude was a super pro-Obama guy. Mm-hmm. And like, all of a sudden, him and Trump got the same opinions on everything. That's not a coincidence.
Right.
This is everybody. What do they like to remind everybody? Y'all know Trump was a Democrat. Mm-hmm. Shit, I could tell. I could tell. I could tell. Look at this conversation, or a clip from this conversation. Man, this dude, he figured it out quick, didn't he? He said, man, let me get up out this sports. Will Kane, that boy, he made a power move. I will give him that. And I knew it was coming because he saw that Fox News check. He said, hey, man, you just get to say bullshit all day on camera, but make more money for it. That's what I do with sports, but I don't get paid as much. Let's check out this clip real quick.
The entire country is talking about what happened this past weekend in Minnesota. You've already spoken about it. Everyone watching has seen the video. Everyone has an opinion. I'm curious what you thought when you first saw that video.
Well, I think the whole thing is terrible. I don't like the fact that he was carrying a gun that was fully loaded and he had 2 magazines with him, and it's pretty unusual. But nobody knows when they saw the gun, how they saw the gun, everything.
Listen, everyone keeps telling me this is the guy who speaks for blue-collar Americans. Niko, I'm wearing a Mac Tools fucking collared shirt right now. I've worked in the automotive field for 15 years. If that was Joe Biden that said that, remember when Joe Biden said in order to take on the government, you would need F-15s or nuclear weapons? And literally everybody said Joe Biden said he's going to nuke you. I'm like, yeah, guys, Joe Biden is retarded, but like, you don't have to completely misunderstand what he's saying to make him seem more retarded. This is like akin to that, where, he has 2 magazines. My wife carries more often than I do, right?
Which makes sense in today's climate, unfortunately.
Well, yeah, exactly. If she's pushing the baby with the stroller, she has her gun on her. It's in her purse. So, like, this is just what people do. Specifically in, like, blue collar, red counties, people like to carry. So, why do you care that they have a gun on them? Like, that's a perfectly normal thing in America. We're reminded all the time that there's more guns than people here in America. So why do you have a problem if somebody has one on them?
You know what's even crazier? Why, if I had just gotten jumped by 5 ICE officers for just yelling and whistling, got my ass beat, got my ribs broken, had to go to the hospital, and also I'm witnessing ICE just ring off shots at whoever, executing people in the streets, I probably would take precaution and carry my firearm in that circumstance. I probably would, and based off of what I saw, it probably wasn't. He probably wasn't worried about himself as much as he was worried about other people. But also, he just had his fucking ribs broken by ICE. Why wouldn't he feel the need to carry? Isn't this literally what the Second Amendment was created for? To protect yourself against enemies, foreign and domestic, government tyranny, especially. Yep. And then for him to be like, for Trump to be like, I don't like it. I don't like that he was carrying a gun. What? Weren't y'all just saying Democrats are gonna take y'all guns? Yeah. Weren't y'all just saying Biden was gonna take y'all guns? And you know what? That's looking a little bit preferential, because I'd rather somebody take my guns than shoot me for fucking having one after they took it away from me. Right? Because they literally took his gun.
Right.
Didn't stop him from getting shot, Kyle.
Yeah, they literally
Didn't stop him getting shot.
They neutralized the guy. And this is I've had arguments with people about the whole George Floyd situation too, where like the guy was fucking neutralized. If you have someone neutralized, you don't need to do anything. If you have multiple guards with you and the person is on the ground, you're safe. So like, why do you need to shoot them? Why do you need to maintain some kind of physical hold on them? Bro, you're okay. And the other thing that happened, from my understanding, is like one of those ICE officers literally like shoved the woman like a man, like put her down, like one that could probably potentially kill the woman if she hit her head hard enough. So I'm sorry.
That was why he got involved.
Yeah, exactly. If I saw an ICE officer shove my wife like that, we're gonna have fucking problems, because first of all, she better damn well be doing something, that's gonna kill somebody or hurt somebody severely if you're gonna shove her like that. But if you're just shoving her to shove her, I'm sorry. I don't care if I'm taking a bullet or not. Someone's ass is getting whooped.
Nah, if you push a woman like that, I really don't give a fuck. Like, the office, like, because one, that's not legal. Like, especially if she wasn't doing anything wrong, it's not legal. And if you're like, if she can't protect herself and no one else is doing it, that is one of my curses. Like, I can't look away. I'm not going to pretend like I can. It's like during Civil War, whenever Tony was mad with Captain America, he's like, and Cap was like, sometimes I just wish I could look away and pretend like it, like when I don't notice the bad stuff when it happens. And Tony was like, no, you don't. Like, Steve was like, yeah, you're right. No, I don't. It's like that. What I also find interesting is, so that Trump, I believe he pardoned Enrique Tarrio. You know who Enrique Tarrio is?
I know the name, but
Proud Boy.
Okay,
leader,
right.
Leader.
Yeah.
More importantly, FBI informant. He was an FBI informant. But more to this point, he was arrested 2 days before January 6th. You know why? Because he flew into DC with 2 loaded mags and a gun 2 days before January 6th. And he was arrested, but then he was released. And the argument that his lawyer made in court was, oh no, Tarrio's a Fed. He's an informant. Like, he was doing his job basically. So, now he's actually part of ICE. Tarrio is part of ICE now. And Trump pardoned him. This is not hyperbole, Kyle. He was arrested for the 2 magazines that he was about to take to a protest. But now Trump doesn't like the fact that this guy had 2 magazines. Right. Pardon one, other one gets killed. Make it make sense, Kyle.
It's ridiculous. I'm like I said, I see people going down this path of just, I need my side to win right now. And it's like I said, it's the worst part of humanity. And people that are trying to get you to celebrate this kind of stuff, I don't think it's good for you. I don't think it's good for you to celebrate when, even if you have the biggest disagreements with anybody, I think celebrating people getting killed in the streets like this is just not good for your soul.
Especially when it's about the government.
Yeah.
Like Kyle, being that you're the libertarian conservative, I'm curious to know if you would put this in the category of paternalistic big government.
That's about as bad as it gets. Yeah, it's about as bad as it gets.
When you're bringing people from not even from the agency into the agency specifically to do this one thing.
And like, you heard Alex Jones and all these conspiracy theorists, which basically they're like Fox News watching boomers at this point, talking about this global surveillance state and this one world government and all this stuff. Okay, well, now Trump's assembling this board of peace with a bunch of Zionists and people, the warring parties and Palantir and all these AI contracts, the Where's Daddy AI that's being used in Gaza, and all the weapons are being shipped to Ukraine, all this kind of stuff. And the conspiracy theorists are nowhere to be found.
Where's Ian? Once again, where's Ian Carroll? I'm curious, but I can tell you, I can't get into detail about it, but I can tell you some stuff about I can tell you some stuff later on, offline, because it's a little bit personal. If I say what I want to say, it would expose the person who told me, so I can't say it. But Ian is a fetty fed, bro. And
glowing.
And it's not Like, yeah, like I'm not, boy, like I've been doing this long enough to know how it works. Like if he was who people thought he was, I would know who he is. Like, because I know who Whitney Webb is. There are people that I don't watch, but I know who they are because of the consistent work that they've done. And when you've never been anywhere at any point in the last decade, and in 2 to 3 years, you just show up as Palestinian movement blows up, and then Alex Jones comes back, and then all of a sudden you're getting boosted in a way that is not natural. And not just on one, but on Instagram, on X, and then on you get invites to these YouTube channels to people who didn't know you until a year ago.
Right.
And they're treating you like an expert on topics that other people informed you about. Like, it's just not natural. And it's like, okay, here's your opportunity. Prove to us that you're genuine. Bro, the World Economic Forum is like a conspiracy theorist's dream. All they do is spend all day conversing about all the things that we've been telling people that they are going to do. This is your chance. This is your chance, bro. No, can't do that. Why? Because I got to expose Trump if I do that. And if I expose Trump, bro, really quick, did you see this this claim as to why they can't? By the way, the officer was put on administrative leave. I should mention that. So he's probably gonna get a paycheck and get paid, retired and get paid and get all his benefits for the rest of his life, unfortunately. But like, this is their version of accountability, and it might be the best that we're gonna get. So I guess at the bare minimum, he won't kill nobody else. But I believe that he was put on administrative leave so that he wouldn't have his information put out there, and it was to protect him. To be honest, I think that's why. But listen to this shit.
Commander Rovino, when it comes to the shooting, from what I understand, there were 2 agents who fired shots. We know one of the agents had 8 years experience, and we know he was a less lethal instructor and had this training. What did the other agent, what was his history, and are they both working right now, or are they on administrative leave?
All agents that were involved in that scene are working, not in Minneapolis, but in other locations. That's for their safety. There's this thing called doxing, and the safety of our employees is very important to us. So we're going to keep those employees safe. As far as the number of shots, the number of agents involved, that, again, is going to come out in the investigation.
Bro, first of all, let me just say, now we're concerned about the safety of individuals. We just want to work really hard to keep our employees safe, and we don't want to dox them.
Few people had to get off before they were like, hold on, maybe things aren't going that well.
But it's crazy. It's like, we don't want people to dox them and then use that information to find them and then put their safety at risk. Okay, so how did this Alex Pretti situation happen? You surveilled him. You found him. They admitted that you knew his name. It put him at risk because you surveilled him, and now he's dead. So it's like, oh, the civilians, American citizens, you don't give a fuck about their safety. Right. But your officers who are breaking the law, disguised as, under the guise of this immunity that Trump and Kristi Noem have given them, their safety is important, Kyle.
Right.
But the American citizens that you are allegedly there in Minneapolis to protect and defend from those crazy illegal immigrants that nobody even acknowledged until 6 months ago. Yeah. Yeah, like, just because fucking Trump has a gripe to pick with Somalians, like, fuck them. Their safety is unimportant. But my like, come on. This, I don't know any clear example of fascism than what we, like, and at least during my lifetime in the States, I've never, that we're witnessing right now. I've never seen it.
Man. Yeah, it's like I said, you would think people would be more aware of this. And I did have a friend who was at January 6th, who was actually at the Butler assassination attempt. He was in the crowd. You could see him in the photo, in the picture and everything. Cause yeah, I mean, that's literally like 45 minutes away from me. It's not far at all. But he's kind of coming around to this because he's like, oh, like some of this whole global surveillance stuff is a little weird. So some people are waking up to it, but I think they may be a little late to the punch here. And it is good to see at least like the Trump coalition is fracturing, if you will, where
It is.
there's still ridiculous people who still tell you to trust the plan. I had a tweet that got a decent bit of traction for calling someone an idiot if they say like trust the plan or call you a panican. I'm like, I can't take you seriously if you're using that kind of language. But like there are people
What plan,
who,
Kyle?
yeah, what is the plan? Here?
Trump's plan has changed every 2 weeks since he's been elected, Kyle.
Right.
What plan are we trusting?
Exactly.
It'd be different if there was some kind of consistent theme that we can rely on.
Mm-hmm.
But we can't. Like, the only thing that I can consistently count on is that whatever Kamala Harris is going to do, Trump is doing.
Mm.
That's the only consistency I've seen.
Right.
Like, at least in 2016, we were like, trust the plan. I'm like, okay, I could see how people could be
was an
goaded into
unknown.
believing. Yeah, like, and it was some like, he did have this habit of like escalating, and then out of nowhere would de-escalate extreme, like with the North Korea thing, for example, right? So like, I could see where even when Israel was escalating, he actually was telling Israel like, hey, y'all need to chill the fuck out. Like, I could see how people can be goaded into believing in this imaginary plan, but lately we're kidnapping Maduro for fentanyl. Okay, so how many times you mentioned fentanyl on the charges? Actually, we didn't mention it at all. Hold on, what? Well, what about this drug trafficking organization he's a part of? Yeah, we
made that up.
We made that up too.
There
so
was
what the fuck did you arrest him for?
I want to pull up this
because we want their oil. Go ahead, bro.
This guy I follow on Twitter, he's a really great follow for a lot of foreign policy stuff. Carolina Lion. He just shared something. Oh, let me see if I could find it. Okay, yeah. Rubio says Trump administration is prepared to use military force if needed to force Venezuela's acting leader Delcy Rodriguez to cooperate with the U.S., including opening their oil sector to American companies as Washington steps up naval deployments and oil
that just happened.
Interdictions. It's dated. Yeah, it was dated yesterday. So, well, they say they're prepared to use military force. And I think you and I both kind of called this. And like, there's all these people saying, "Oh, it's gonna be a cakewalk." I'm like, the only way you're gonna get them to fully cooperate is you need a military occupation. And no Americans, like Trump is doing bad in the polls already. He will tank in the polls if they have tons of boots on the ground down in Venezuela to try and military occupy the country for $80 a barrel oil, which the US and Canada dollar per barrel, or like a dollar cost per barrel, is like $57 to $58 per barrel. And then you had also laid out in a couple shows that we did that they were only getting enough oil to supply the US for like 2 days, and they like fixed
market
the numbers
value,
to make
by
it
the
look,
way.
They had another thing where they said they got like 1 trillion gallons of oil or something like that. It was something ridiculous. It could supply the U.S. with gas for 100 days. And once again, that's assuming it'd be at regular market rate and that they would just use all this stuff. Like, this is not the win that people think it is. And it's literally cuck chair politics. And Tim Pool is like the epitome of cuck chair politics, because he's sitting over here saying, this is my boot. I'm wearing the boot that's being pressed on these Minnesotans' neck. And this is what I voted for, kidnapping the president of Venezuela. I'm like, bro,
I'm not licking boots. I'm wearing the boots. Yeah.
Like, this is like you in your basement playing with action figures. Tim, put on your fucking yarmulke and go fucking ride the half pipe for a little bit, bro. Yeah. You can keep your beanie on.
To cover that bald spot. Put on he still covered the bald spot, man. It's probably maybe that's why it seemed like he's converting, bro. He's like, I got this beanie. I'm not gonna be able to ride this beanie wave forever, man. But this yarmulke will resolve that issue. But dog, like, it's funny because there were some people who had doubted that Delcy Rodriguez could handle the situation without Maduro, and the U.S. believed that they could manipulate her without realizing. So Delcy Rodriguez, I learned from Anya Priyanpal that she is one of the most respected politicians in the world. Whenever Venezuela is trying to do business, like with whenever Washington wants to do business with Venezuela, or Russia wants to do business with Venezuela, or China wants to do business with Venezuela, they send her. Like, it's been like this. Like, that's why everyone was so confident whenever she took over, and they were like, "What?" There were Venezuelans to this day like, "What regime change?" There was no regime change. Like, and when they said that, some people were like, "What are you talking about? We got Maduro." So then why are you threatening to use military force if Delcy Rodriguez won't cooperate? if it was a successful regime change. Because this court case is falling through, so you're not really getting the support you thought you would get with this prosecution of Maduro, because all the charges that you were trying to use against him turned out to be lies, which we all knew. But then on top of that, y'all thought this woman was weak. This is the same woman that literally, bro, she takes ping pong breaks in the middle of the day. She be busting motherfuckers' ass in ping pong, and then will go to a goddamn international meeting or meeting with international leaders and negotiate. Like, this is who Delcy Rodriguez is. Everybody, people are like, nah, she is legitimately the second most powerful political figure in Venezuela, and there's a reason for it. Right. And she is proving it to the point where people will forget. Not only will people be pissed if you try to deploy troops to Venezuela, because like that's a death sentence. You're signing a death sentence to these. They have 4 million people prepared to fight in the militia. Like that whole well-regulated militia our secular man was talking about, Venezuela is about that shit. They train people for this shit. These people have been wishing a motherfucker would for a decade. That's why they had to run the special forces operation in the middle of the night instead of going to war. That's why. Well, because they know what time it is.
On top of that, what kind of surprises me about all this is that, like, you would think that Americans would feel a little bit more kinship with Venezuelans, because I had Anya Parmpel on the show probably like a year, I say maybe like a year and a half ago. And she had explained to me that like the founding of Venezuela is very similar to the founding of America. And like they hold a lot of the same beliefs. And Caracas is a majorly Catholic city, and it's a majorly Catholic country. So, okay, well, if we're a Christian nation,
and Maduro is very Catholic, actually.
Right. Right. And he's anti-Zionist as well, which is great. So like, wouldn't you think that more people would be like, oh, we actually have a lot in common with these people, so why can't we get along with Maduro? And especially like if he's willing to give up everything, like why do we have to have a problem with these people who, once again, well-regulated militia, country found largely on what we would consider like liberal values, freedom, and all these kind of ideals? Wouldn't we be like, we should have like a really good relationship with these people, because once again, we're a very similar people, a very similar nation, and we would gel really well together, right? They have oil, we want oil, we could send them vehicles, we could have a really great relationship here. But instead the US decides, oh no, we're going to firebomb their capital, drop a bomb on an apartment building, kill an 80-year-old lady, censor the funeral from Twitter, and then rile everybody up and say they're Cubans. Yeah, exactly. And then say that like this is this giant problem country. Like, no, that's actually not true at all.
Yeah, it's not true at all. And like, bro, I at least learned from Vietnam. We can't. The reason that when we don't go to war with a country like Venezuela, despite all that saber rattling we do, it's because I know and they know we can't win. Right. That's why we don't go to war with Iran. We got to do a color revolution. Why? Motherfucker, because we're going to get our asses whooped. That's why we sent Saddam in there. We said, hey, like, you know, the instigators be in the hallway in high school. Hey, man, go get him, dog. He called you a bitch. He called you a bitch. You going to let him call you that? Just because you're trying to see if he can actually throw hands, and you find out the hard way. Damn, that motherfucker, he really can throw hands. Next, we're going to have to try something else because we can't fight him one-on-one. That's what happened in Venezuela. But what's interesting about this is, like, you made up a bunch of lies to justify kidnapping Maduro, but you took him to court to make it look legitimate, right? And you said that you had to do all of this with Maduro because of some laws that were never being broken, but you claim were being broken. So basically you're saying you're going to intervene militarily and effectively take out Delcy Rodriguez for what? Because you never accused her of anything you accused Maduro of doing. Right. So how are you going to justify like, not for nothing, like, I'm not trying to be a chauvinist, I'm not trying to be sexist, but it is not a good look when you just straight up kill a female president because you want her oil. That shit is not going to go over well, bro. It's not. It didn't go over well whenever they kidnapped his wife, Maduro's wife. Imagine you haven't even expended the energy to make up the lies you made up. You spent a year making up about Maduro. And you're just I'm going to kill her. Why? You want her oil? Hold up, you gonna kill this woman for oil? Hold up, we gotta die too? Oh yeah, that's not gonna work. It's not gonna work, bro. Like, it's getting real ugly, and you really gotta start questioning Trump's mental state. Like, we know that he's not in control of the government because he's a U.S. president. What U.S. president is, but it's getting worse because not only is he not in control of the government, but he's not in control of his own mind, and it's starting to show with the political decisions he's making and his justification for why he's making them. Because even though we know Obama, for example, was never working for us and he was never acting autonomously, his excuses were consistent. He was a smooth talker. He knew how to make you feel like that person was a villain. And he always knew how to flip it to make it seem like we were the bad guy and he was a villain. It's a very clear-cut dialectical, like Hegelian dialectical A and B option. And that's not Trump. Trump can't get his justifications right for why he's engaging in the globalist imperialism that he's engaging in. Speaking of which, bro, this shit in Davos, I mean, it's nothing short of audacious. How they just went in there and just basically said, yeah, man, we run Gaza now. That's basically what happened. To be honest, there's a board of peace, and Trump is putting together a board of peace for Gaza after they financed the massacre of Gaza, the genocide of Gaza. And there are, oh man, bro, I don't know if you know, but there are 25 countries that want to be part of this board of peace. Yeah. On top, bro, 25.
It's so funny because these peace deals, the way that the Trump team negotiates, it's so funny to me. We've negotiated with what the hell? They're like, oh yeah, we negotiate with the EU and Ukraine on how to end the war in Russia. And then what's absent from that? Russia. Who's the party that you're warning against? Yeah, like we're not concerned with what Putin thinks. We're trying to figure this out. And then every single time they throw him the offering, and Putin's like, "Fuck you, I'm not doing this." And you can kind of see the way this plays out because the people who love Trump saying, "Oh, Putin joined the peace board." No, he didn't. He didn't say he was going to or that he wasn't going to. He did say that he was okay with freeing up $1 billion in frozen Russian assets to help rebuild Gaza, but he never said he was going to join the board of peace. Why the fuck would you join the board of peace after Trump stole your oil tankers and continues to fund the other side of the war and give them intelligence after they just struck your residency?
Yeah, and that billion that he was willing to free up to rebuild Gaza wasn't supposed to be an investment.
Right.
To like, because that's what all this board of peace shit is. It's for investors to make money off of the rebuilding of Gaza. That was not Putin's intention. So like, it's everybody, literally, bro. Qatar is part of Jared. And I'm going to show you in a little bit this little clip from Jared Kushner. It's kind of disgusting, but Qatar is involved in it. Jordan's involved in it, bro. Oh man, you want to hear some heartbreaking shit? Fucking Lula. Lula wants Brazil involved in the board of peace, dog. Brazilians have been going in on his ass all fucking day. Because
love to see it.
So you block Venezuela from joining BRICS, which, by the way, if Venezuela was allowed to join BRICS whenever they applied for it, there's a very huge possibility that he would have never been kidnapped. Because there is a contingency in BRICS where if you mess with one of their countries like that, like if you try to kidnap somebody or assassinate one of the leaders of the countries, like you might have to see you might have to catch the hands from their allies. And that so they wouldn't want to test it because Russia's involved. They're involved in the fabricating and cleaning of the oil so that they can start refining it and then selling it, and they're also gonna get a piece. Like when they re-upped their oil deal with Venezuela, a factory that Russia had just started working in just fucking exploded. Like it was specifically to attack Russia. So like that all happened, in my opinion, largely because Brazil greenlighted it when they blocked BRICS. So, and then you after this big ass, bro, you remember that show they were putting on X? Him and Trump, Lula and Trump. No, now you shaking hands with him. Yeah, bro, they were going at it on X. They were going at it.
Yeah, I must have missed that. Yeah.
Trump just blocked all Brazilians from getting visas to the US. All visas. And you're going to engage in this shit after claiming that you're on the side of Palestinians? Bro, Lula is fucking Obama. And people have so much... Dog, people can't believe when I'm like, y'all don't like that motherfucker. I don't like Lula. He's an egotist. Yeah. And he thinks he's Obama. He's like a less charismatic version of Obama. But like the reality is you're just not fucking Bolsonaro. But the CIA was here. They picked Lula because Bolsonaro was not towing the line enough. He was actually trying to do shit that was actually going to help Brazilians, albeit rich, well-off Brazilians, but like it was for the sake of Brazil.
Right.
And the U.S. didn't like that because Brazil is the number one competitor for the U.S. in all of America and potentially all the world if they were ever allowed to reach their full potential. So like there's that. Then like basically there's an executive board. Nikolai Maldanov was part of the UN. He now is going to be the leader of this peace board. And then it's basically every single major power player in the world has a say in what's going to happen in Gaza that just experienced a fucking genocide. Except for Gazans. Except for Palestinians.
It's every single party that they're on the opposite side of. They're always like, oh yeah, the negotiations are going great. We don't talk to the other party, but yeah, like we're talking about it. It feels good. And then of course that when they finally have a meeting with them, it's either one of two things. It goes nowhere and they act like it's going so far, or or they use the negotiations as a tactic to strike the other party. Again, you see this with Qatar, you see this with Iran, probably happened in Hezbollah or with Hezbollah in Lebanon as well. Every single time the U.S. goes to negotiate, they don't negotiate in good faith. And I know we wanted to talk a little bit about like the whole Iran situation. Why would Iran negotiate with the West at this point?
Fuck no. Bro, are you following Dr. Sayed on Upscrolled? Dog, this motherfucker he's like, also I'm like, yeah, we getting our get back. Like, he's pissed. Stuff that he would never say on X. Like,
did Rachel Blevins just interview him?
I think he's been on a lot of shows recently.
Okay, there was somebody that she interviewed recently who's in Iran, and he had mentioned
very closely with the Israelis.
Some of the the guy that she was interviewing, and it might have been the gentleman you mentioned. He had said some of the protesters were like stabbed in the back. I don't know. Okay, I might be.
But yeah, because he's been actually clarifying the numbers that the numbers that are false that have been put out, and
it's
talking
not
about
20,000.
30,000 now, supposedly. Fucking 30,000. It's like, no, it's not that many people, and the people who have been killed are fucking being killed by Mossad after they bragged about giving them weapons to do this.
Yeah, or they get stabbed in the back, literally.
Yeah, come on, bro. Let's look at, bro. Just Jared Kushner.
Is going to be security. Obviously, we've been working very closely with the Israelis to figure out a way through de-escalation. And the next phase is working with Hamas on demilitarization, which I'll talk about in a second. But without security,
we ain't going to let you just say, we're working with the Israelis on de-escalation. In what world, Kyle, is the word Israel and de-escalation ever associated with each other? Unless you're saying Israel don't know how to de-escalate shit. That's the only time that those two words belong in the same sentence.
Never. I think it was Katie Halper that said that when a ceasefire is for Israel means that the other side ceases and Israel fires. Because ever since the ceasefire back in October, and once again, we put ceasefire in quotes, Israel's killed about 400 Palestinians since October. Yeah. Which, like, okay, I'll throw Trump a bone here and say, like, that is dramatically less Palestinians than were being killed before. But, like, they're still violating the ceasefire daily, not just like every here and there. And then JD Vance defends it. Oh yeah, there'll be some hiccups, like killing 400.
What the fuck is a hiccup?
Yeah,
like, how's that a hiccup? And then what's worse is not only are they killing people in Gaza, but like during the moment the ceasefire started, they just started, we're just gonna kill people in the West Bank. Then we'll go ahead and do that. And also now you can't say West Bank in Florida because the citizens are fucking fast pig. Like. Bro, but if I say that their politicians with dual loyalty on X, I get shadow banned. That's just wild to me. I apparently don't know what the word dual loyalty means. That must be it.
Nobody's going to make investments. Nobody's going to come, build there. We need investments in order to start giving jobs. We want to take these people. 85% of the aid of Gaza, 85% of the GDP of Gaza has been aid for a long time. That's not sustainable. It doesn't give these people dignity. It doesn't give them hope.
Bro, how many times are you going to say these people?
Because
I want you to know, Kyle, that's deliberate.
You know how
he doesn't
Israelis,
want to say Palestinians.
Yep. You know how the Israelis feel about them. They call them Amalek. Amalek, they have all these different procedures that are just absolutely horrid. Like I think it's called the Locust Protocol, where they literally tie mines to these people and then use them, or they use Palestinians to actually wade through minefields to make sure that like there's no traps or anything. And then there have been situations where they've done that, and then when the person comes back, they shoot them. I mean, this isn't like hard stuff to find either.
Man, that's crazy.
Yeah. So like, and it's once again, what do they always say about Hamas? They use human shields. The Israelis literally use human shields.
Time the cars.
Yeah. The Mossad headquarters is in like a residential neighborhood in Tel Aviv. Right?
Yeah. Oh, remember when they were blocking the videos from being posted, threatening to arrest people? Because when you were looking at the bombs from Iran land, you're like, hold up, motherfucker, is that an apartment complex? I thought they said they were attacking military targets. And then Iran's like, we are attacking military targets. Are y'all using the entire apartment complexes as human shields?
Yep.
Delete that footage. Delete it.
That's anti-Semitism.
And so we want to use free market economy principles. A lot of what President Trump spoke about that he's doing in America, we want to bring the same mindset, the same approach to a place like Gaza to give these people the ability to thrive and have a good life.
Bro. First of all, these people. And also, you want to bring the same mindset from America into Gaza, Kyle? That's what they
Yeah.
You mean like when you're executing people in the street?
Right.
It's already there, man. They brought it over to the US. You ain't got to bring it. Like, it's already there.
And this is assuming that Palestinians want that. Like, why do we never ask what they want? Like, you don't allow them to have elections. And last time they did have elections, which people love to bring this up, well, they elected Hamas. Okay, well, who funded Hamas? Netanyahu.
And that whole generation is dead, by the way.
Yeah, exactly. The last time they had elections was in 2005. And half the population in Gaza is under the age of 18. So what do you mean they elected Hamas? It's like, if half the population is under the age of 18, just mathematically, there's very few people living today that would have elected Hamas at this point. So like, it's such a bullshit.
Oh, and by the way, they were forced they were forced into that election between them and the PLO. And the PLO, if I'm not mistaken, wasn't even allowed to stand. If I'm not mistaken.
And the exact quote from Benjamin Netanyahu is, "We control the height of the flame. We have to keep sending money to Hamas because we can control the height of the flame." All right. Yeah. And then, of course, when Trump comes in and does the Abraham Accords, where they basically just throw the Palestinians under the bus, and we're going to pay all these dictators in the region to basically turn their heads away from their neighbors and people they consider friends and family.
Bro, Jordan is crazy. Right. Having Jordan involved in this, Kyle, I don't know if you know, but Jordan, 93% of Jordan are Palestinians.
Oh,
you know that, right?
I didn't know that. No.
Yeah. So Jordan is where a lot of the Palestinians were fleeing to escape the tyranny of Israel. My ex, her whole family, on her dad's side, they live in Jordan. Like, that's where I'm like, hold up, is that like, why don't they live in Palestine? That's whenever I learned about what was going on. And then she was like, yeah, no, like basically the ones who were able to, they had to move to Jordan to have some type of decent life without worrying about being killed. I'm like, well then, like, is there a lot of people from Palestine? She's like, oh no, almost everybody. Almost everybody. Which is why they made sure to install a dictator. Because if you just let those Palestinians, because a lot of them are wealthy Palestinians, by the way, if you just left them up to their own desires, they would probably do what? Go and liberate their aunts, their uncles, their cousins, their grandparents. Right. Like, one of the reasons, in my opinion, that they blew up the airport in Gaza was specifically so that Jordanians couldn't go back and forth between there and Gaza. Because eventually there probably would be some funding that was discussed, some planning and some liberation. Like that was very deliberate. But yeah, Jordan, even though it is a U.S. puppet and they do have a king, Jordan unfortunately is a 93%, bro. It's something crazy. Most of them are Palestinian. It's nuts.
Yeah. Oh, once again, they want the Abraham Accords and the Gaza Accords. And what they're trying to do with the Abraham Accords is we just want to hush out the Palestinians because, Israel's slaughtering them left and right, but it has to be there. It can't be the Israelis are just genocidal maniacs. It's got to be those damn Palestinians. So we're going to take over Gaza for them. We can't possibly tell Israel, hey, man, why don't we why don't you just leave Palestine alone? That's too much to ask.
That's too much. That's too much to ask. Really quick, man. Donald Trump, bro, back at it. A massive armada is heading to Iran. That's a weird thing to announce, you fucking moron, but okay. It is moving quickly with great power, enthusiasm, and purpose. He just be saying words sometimes.
Yeah.
And it should be crazy to me how he just be an armada is moving with enthusiasm. How did you determine that? Did the boats report? Is there a metric to know how enthusiastic your naval ships are? It is a larger fleet headed by the great aircraft carrier, the Abraham Lincoln, then that sent to Venezuela. I'm not sure what that means. I do know what the Lincoln is, though. Lincoln fucking sucks. Nobody likes going on Lincoln, by the way. It's a whole thing. Ain't nobody enthusiastic about going no goddamn where on the Lincoln. People hate that shit. Anyway, like with Venezuela, it is ready, willing, and able to rapidly fulfill its mission with speed and violence if necessary. The Lincoln is not capable of high speeds. Anyway, it's just he just be saying shit, bro. It's nuts. And it's also bro, this is Iran. Who do you think you fucking with, dog? Who? Hopefully Iran will quickly come to the table and negotiate a fair and equitable deal, no nuclear weapons.
Yeah.
What? How are we gonna negotiate about some shit that I don't have? Here's that one that is good for all parties.
It's always been a latent nuclear deterrent that they basically want to negotiate away. Once again, if they had nuclear weapons, the U.S. wouldn't have struck them. If they had nuclear weapons, they would not have been struck. That's just a fact.
Bingo.
Because we never fuck with the countries that have nukes. Why didn't North Korea get bombed? Well, they got nukes. Why aren't we directly fighting against Russia or China? Because guess what? Their navies and their militaries will probably kick our ass. And that's a big country with a lot of people who really like their country. So it's too ridiculous.
That patriotism factor is a factor.
Yeah.
Okay, so for example, you're sitting in Armada, that's what he claims he's doing, right? Which basically means you're sitting in the Navy. I'm just gonna let you on a little secret. These Navy sailors are not known for for fighting on ground wars. That's not what they do. Okay, so I just want to be clear about that. And to beat Iran, you got to fight them on land because it's the way that they're not landlocked completely, but the way that they're set up, no Navy is doing shit. They're intercepting everything quick. And more to the point, not only they're intercepting anything, but did y'all not just see what the fuck they did to Israel? Israel had a whole quote unquote Iron Dome that protected the whole country. Not only did they have the Iron Dome, but they had Kuwait launching missiles to protect them. They had Jordan launching missiles to protect them. They had Qatar launching missiles to protect them. And they still got penetrated.
Yep.
No lube. Unconsensually. Okay.
They got pretty effed up in that situation.
Yeah,
and the West
and they had a hypersonic thrown at them they didn't even know Iran had.
Well, and the West did a pretty good job of covering up how bad the damage was. But I don't know if you saw the stories last week where they basically called off, Israel told them oh, no, we're not ready for that. And there are people that are saying Trump did this to put Netanyahu in a position to basically, so that way he'd be able to back down. I'm nah, dude, I don't believe this. Trump is, first of all, he's not that smart. And then second of all, they've wanted this war for a long ass time. He already struck him once. And everybody told me the 12-day war was a great success. Look, no long drawn out situation. But everybody who knows anything about the situation, you just kick the can down the road. And now here we are. We either have to kick the can again, or we're going to have to send troops in or do something big with Iran because my understanding is Iran's we're not playing around this time. And You know, if you're Iran, you have every pretext to basically go to war with Israel right now. Like, they'd be completely justified. You assassinated their scientists. You assassinated political officials. You've bombed them multiple times. And Iran has been restrained consistently. So, you know what? If Iran was like, you know what? Fuck you. We're just going to fucking wipe you off the map. We'll do whatever it takes. The
amount of restraint Iran has shown is insane to me. Because, like, just me personally, I know I'm not capable of showing that amount of restraint. Like, I'm not capable. Because, like, it's one thing if you threaten us all the time. Like, for example, you know we don't have nuclear weapons, but you want to help Israel bomb us and attack us, knowing that they do have nuclear weapons. And you don't care. Okay. Then the only reason, by the way, that we have these sanctions that are put on us that causes economic problems, that cause the initial small protests, like that were like a little bit more legitimate. We have these sanctions put on us because of the JCPOA that you pulled out of, claiming that we had nuclear weapons that you knew we didn't have, because all of your Western NATO allies all said we didn't have nuclear weapons, and we have been inspected by these nuclear inspectors by more times than any other country in the world. Then you fucking attack, you kill Soleimani on foreign soil, violating I don't know how many international laws. And you're trying to overthrow my country from the inside. Again, bro, at this point, if you are genuinely considering putting boots on the ground, like, no, in my opinion, I am thankful, bro. I'm so thankful that none of my friends that I know are on the Lincoln right now, because you're literally putting fucking ducks in the water for them to get blown up. Because there's no capability that the Lincoln nor any other ship in this category has that can stop a barrage of Iranian missiles. Because we still, to this day, do not completely know nor understand Iran's capabilities. Do you know why? Because not only are they capable of making their own weapons, but China has been helping them for at least a decade, and they've been doing it by shipping weapons in parts. So you never actually know what weapons they have until your ass gets hit with a hyper fucking sonic missile out of nowhere, and your Iron Dome turns plastic. Like, so he's putting people in danger by doing this.
Marco Rubio
and he
even
doesn't
admitted
give
this.
a fuck.
Yeah, Marco Rubio admitted this. I think it was literally, it was a Senate hearing, and it might have been off hotspot, but I saw it somewhere where he said like 20 to 40,000 U.S. military members are at risk because of this. And like, my thought was, so negotiate. Like, you've already thrown out your credibility in negotiations, but like, pull the troops out of the fucking Middle East and then negotiate with Iran. Figure out what the fucking problem is. They're not building nukes. They don't pose a fucking threat to the United States. Are you crazy?
Iran has never killed an American.
Right.
Iran has never. I couldn't believe that. I couldn't believe it, bro. I couldn't believe when I learned. I said, "What? You mean not even by accident? No, never."
Because once again, that's not what they want. That's not. People project this Western imperial like foreign policy onto Russia, China, and Iran, but that's just not the way these countries operate. Like, all these countries are older than the United States. They have legacies. They have people. They have a culture that we largely as Westerners don't understand. I joke all the time. China's foreign policy, strongly worded letters to the U.S. and diplomacy. Russia, basically, it's kind of the same deal there. Iran is basically major restraint, and if you fuck with us, we'll show you, but just leave us alone. Like, that's their foreign policy.
I'm so glad you brought that up, bro, because what people got to understand, like, whose foreign policy are going to believe it? Yeah, we call it Iran now, but Persia. That's Persia, guys.
Yep.
How long has Persia been here? How long has the U.S. been here? Who do you think has experience in making sure that their country lasts in the long run? How long has Russia been here? How long has the U.S. been here? Even after they balkanized, do you know how long it took them to fucking balkanize Russia because of how well regulated Russia had been even after they overthrow the Tsar? Like, yeah, they're like, yeah, we're just gonna put a stall in. He's gonna keep everybody together. Like, they had to do one of the grandest intelligentsia operations in history, and it still ended with Russia being one of the strongest superpowers in the world. Not even 2 decades later, still, because that's what history and experience and culture shows you. China Jesus freaking Christ, the thing that made China so hard it made it hard for China to remain a country that was united because of how fucking big it is, right? That's what made it so difficult. But in today's world, the thing that made them, that put them at risk and caused them so much trouble when they were trying to build and become a superpower, now is their greatest asset, and we have no way to combat it. Our food ain't letting nobody have kids. How you gonna fight a billion people? No, not a billion, excuse me, billions of people. Explain that one.
You can't.
Y'all can't even make a Tesla drive right.
Yeah, they got BYDs that the average person can afford, and then 89% of people in China own their homes.
Yeah, and it's like 60% of them own two.
Yep. So,
and I'm not not for nothing, yo. I'm not trusting. If you want to talk about a disciplined military, you ain't no way in fucking hell you gonna convince me that our soldiers are more disciplined than Chinese. I don't care how many wars we done fought in. We lost a lot of those wars. And I guarantee you, if we were Chinese, we probably wouldn't have, because I watched the Olympics. Everybody watched that opening ceremony, okay? If their military operates anything like that, we can't do it. We ain't gonna. We can't do it. We can't beat the kids. You see the kids and the little fight. Boy, them kids whooping my kids' ass. Yeah. I don't want my kids fighting them. I don't want it.
We may be able to beat
maybe
them.
it's a samba contest. It's a samba contest, man. But that's it. That's where I go. That's where that ends.
We might be able to beat them in some sports and stuff, but the technology and stuff, they're more done.
Hey, look, all I'm saying is ping pong, we dominate, have every physical advantage to do that, and then it became part of our culture. Ping pong is a worldwide sport. And put the average, you know who the best American ping pong players are? Fucking Chinese. They're all Chinese.
Of course.
You are because you don't need a physical advantage to be good at this. Right. You don't need a physical advantage to be good at war. It's a fact. You don't need it. If you are disciplined, if you have morale, if you have history, all the things you're talking about, culture, it's I love China. I'm not doing this for a fucking paycheck. I got 2 homes already. My family is straight. I'm preserving what my country has given me despite the problems I have with my government. Right. That's the U.S. And that's when it comes to Russia. That's when it comes to China, Iran, Venezuela, and hell, Mexico in a little bit. These countries, when they wave their flag, it's we love us. When Americans, 90% of them, when they wave their flag, it's a fuck you to everybody else. It's because of how much you actually love your country. It's because you're saying fuck you to everybody else. Everybody else actually loves their country, and that's the difference. You got last words before we get up out of here, dog?
No, man. Niko, it's always good to talk to you, man. For everybody listening, feel free to go check out my channel, Matovcick on YouTube. Foreign policy analysis in a few minutes. I'll be going live with our mutual friend Fiorella Isabel. It took us quite a little bit to get it organized, but we finally got it situated. So we're going to be talking about the Isaac and Abraham Accords. Very excited to talk to her again. And of course, look up A Common Crown for hard rock stuff. We just released a song last week, so hopefully you guys like that. And and Liberty and Health podcast, 5 till midnight. Great Megalodon on Substack, Matovcick on Upscrolled and Twitter. Niko, always a pleasure, man.
Appreciate you, man. Say how to feed for me.
For sure.
And for everybody else, man, thank you all for tuning into this live stream segment. If you like this video, make sure you share this video, make sure you subscribe. And like you said, follow us on Upscroll. But more than anything else, always remember, find your balance. Peace.